Hi, everyone. It's Rob. I'm an attorney from Massachusetts, and today we're going to be talking about why would social media shadow ban what I'm going to say today as spicy creators. I'm not going to say the real term for it, but I'm going to say spicy creators. It isn't what you think. And we're going to talk about a lawsuit claiming that giant social media companies uh, kind of got together and decided to, we're going to talk about this. They decided to kind of funnel traffic away from competitors of OF and to OF. So, first of all, my name is Rob. I'm an attorney from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I practice in Boston. And today, I'm not going to be giving you or anybody legal advice. This live stream is for purposes of entertainment only. If you have a legal problem, you're much better off seeing an attorney in person and getting personalized legal advice rather than relying on anything that I have to say today, although we're not really going to get into too much specifics about specific legal cases except to discuss this lawsuit that was filed against OF and Meta, or what was formerly known as Facebook. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran and an attorney, and this is my Twitter account. So if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, here it is, and I'd appreciate any follows. And also, if you get any value out of this live stream, I'd appreciate if you would subscribe. It really helps. I've been doing this for about at least 2 years, pretty consistently, almost every day, as a matter of fact. And I have uploaded, I think the last time I looked, about 800 videos. So this isn't my first crack at the bat. And live streams, I haven't done a huge amount of live streams. I have done some in the past. I'm starting to do them again. And I hope that you'll enjoy this. And I think you will. I think you'll get a lot of good information from it. It's kind of dramatic, it's kind of interesting. A lot of people like lawsuits and following lawsuits and determining and seeing what's going to happen in a specific lawsuit. So let's get into this OnlyFans, OF, I should say. I don't want to say the whole name because if I do, we might cause some trouble with YouTube. But here's a New York Post article that we're going to be discussing. And this Post article is about the information that we're talking about today. And we'll take a look at these two women a little bit later. But this this article says that alleges, I should say, OnlyFans fans, I'll get to say that right, bribed Meta to put thousands of spicy workers on a bad guy watch list. This is what a lawsuit claims. We have a picture of OF. Now, the article also goes on to say that OF squashed competitors in the online spicy industry with the help of a scheme that alleges that gave Meta employees some money so that thousands of spicy workers wouldn't send traffic to rival websites of OF. Let me give you a quick rundown of what the lawsuit alleges. The lawsuit alleges that OF got Meta or other social media. The lawsuit is Meta, and it got Meta to, let's say somebody posted a link to a rival of OF at one time, apparently, because I don't have any personal knowledge of this, at one time, OF had a lot of competitors. At least they had a couple of pretty serious competitors. And some of the spicy content creators used those competitors and they had links. They would put links in their content, in their posts, and those links would lead to sites other than OF. OF got wind of this and must have said, hey, I have an idea. We have an idea. Let's make sure that if anybody posts a link to a competitor of ours, that they're not going to get any, that website won't get any traffic from that link. And how do they propose to do that? According to the lawsuit, any links that weren't to OF and they were to other spicy content social networks, that those links, those content creators would be shadow banned. There's also some allegations that not only were they shadow banned, but they were put on bad guy watch lists. And I'm not going to say the name because if I do, I could be banned myself. So I have to be careful what I say in this video. So according to this article, the spicy performers who sold their content and videos on rival sites, other than saw their Instagram accounts tagged as contributing to bad guy content. And this was crippling, according to the lawsuit, their ability to promote their business and devastating their incomes, according to the lawsuit. So what they're saying is they posted a lot of content, and previously to this shadow ban, they were getting a lot of traffic back to their content on the rival social media sites, and then boom, shadow banned, hardly any more traffic, incomes get cut down, and they're not able to make a living doing what they were doing previously. Sellers of the spicy content, according to down here, this article saw their sites shadow banned, and this article lists not only Meta but a number of other social media sites that this allegedly happened on. The targeted accounts also included not only the spicy workers, but businesses, celebrities, influencers, and others who had nothing to do with being on a bad guy list. So here are these people, entrepreneurs, trying to make a living and seeing their labor, the fruits of their labor, just completely cut off, just devastated because allegedly OF didn't like the competition that their rivals were giving them. So let's just go down a little bit into this article and see what else we can see, because I think it's interesting. Here is one of the performers that claims, and I think she's kind of interesting because she has something to say. So let's see if we can take a look at this a little closer. But she says, this woman in the picture down below says, when I heard that my content may be listed on a bad guy watch list, I was outraged, she says. And it gives her name, and she's a spicy performer and one of the plaintiffs in the California lawsuit alongside another woman. And she told the New York Post that she was angry because it affected her income when her social media content, just traffic dropped significantly, according to her. She was angry because she says that she's the daughter of a veteran who fought for this country. Now, let's kind of take a little bit deeper of a dive into this. And I think I know what she's saying. She could be saying a couple of things. One is that her father fought for the right of people to have constitutional rights. And we all know the First Amendment and a lot of state constitutions guarantee the right to freedom of speech. Now, freedom of speech doesn't necessarily mean any speech whatsoever. It means that most speech is protected under the First Amendment. And one of the first things a law student learns when they go to law school is that not all speech is protected. And I remember one case in particular, and it was about this guy who went into a crowded theater and yelled something that made everybody in the theater panic. and the police charged him with some disorderly conduct or disturbing the peace. I can't remember which one it was. And one of his defenses, the defendant's defenses, was that his speech was protected under the First Amendment. And the court came back, I think it was a Supreme Court case too. The court came back and said, oh no, we all have rights under the First Amendment to protected speech. But if your speech is going to hurt other people, then it's not protected. I think what this woman is trying to say is her father fought to protect free speech when he was in the military. And I think she's also saying that she was a daughter of a veteran who fought for this country. Because why would she, if her father was a veteran, she was probably brought up to respect people in the military and respect what the military does. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. My father was an Army veteran. My son is an Army veteran. My father in law was an Army veteran. I joined the Marine Corps. My grandfather was in the Navy, so that's kind of part of the Department of the Navy, the Marine Corps is. So I think what she's saying here is that she was brought up to respect the military, and why would she ever want to do anything to hurt the United States as far as being put on a bad guy list? It doesn't make sense. To her, it doesn't, and it doesn't make sense to me to have a person that's just trying to make a living. I'm sure she's not making $1 million a year, although I don't really know what she's making, but this is a picture of her, and this is what she's claiming in the lawsuit, that she was prevented, I should say, from continuing to make a living because she was shadow banned on social network sites. So let's get back into this article down below. She said that her and other people were all allegedly placed in a database of bad guys, accounts run by some group, a nonprofit group intended to stop the spread of videos that were disturbing in the sense that they might create a dangerous situation for people that should be put in a dangerous situation. No one should be put in a dangerous situation. But this woman is claiming that nobody should be put in a dangerous situation from doing the work that she was doing, and nobody had a right to put her on a list that would categorize her as somebody that was bad and that was doing things that would hurt people. After these performers, the lawsuit alleges that the performers use rival sites. And because they use rival sites to OF, that they were added to this group's list. And it really hurt their business. And again, let's just take a quick look at what goes on here. Here is another one of the performers that claims that her income was cut significantly too. And to look at her, it doesn't look like you would expect her to be put on a watch list of bad guys. Not at all to me. Let's take a closer look at this article. A little deep dive here and get my picture out of the way so you can read it too. And a statement to the Post. So a big law firm was hired to represent these groups and these individuals in the lawsuit against OF and against Meta and whatever other social media sites are involved in this allegations. The law firm is a law firm called Milberg, and it has a bunch of names after Milberg that I won't get into, but one of the partners that's representing these groups and individuals his name is David Azar. And he says that he's helping his clients. He wants to help figure out whether his clients had their content shadow banned or their names added to any databases intended for bad guys. And he wants to know how to get them off those lists. And that's what part of this lawsuit is about. In a statement to the Post, OF stated that they were aware of the cases that have been brought against them, but they're not aware of any evidence which supports the allegations. That seems pretty typical to me as an attorney. You're not going to come right out and say, yeah, I admit, we admit as an organization that we did things that we shouldn't have done, and we're going to throw in the towel right now. That rarely happens when a lawsuit is brought. Both sides do discovery. So in this situation, it would be the plaintiffs and the defendants, OF, and whoever else is named as defendants would do discovery. So they would submit questions to each other. They would take depositions of all the witnesses, and they would submit questions to each other. For instance, we know in an organization, in a corporation, it's usually not one person at the top that is really making all the decisions. It's different management levels making different decisions. And sometimes the president of the organization isn't always aware of everything going on below him or her. They should be, but they're not always. So in this situation, we're not really sure who knew what, or if any of these allegations are absolutely true. But again, Meta didn't respond to the request for comment, but which they do have a list, and I'm going to show you that list in a little bit. But I want to get to one of these other articles also so we can discuss that. So let's take a look at this article, and this is from the Daily Mail, I think it is. So let me just get my picture out of the way so you can see this. We're going to see this picture in a little bit, and this is let's take a look at it now. This is the CEO of OF, and he's has a nice smile on his face, and he has his arms crossed and kind of a serious pose. But he is the CEO or the founder anyway of OF, and again, here's one of the people, the women that brought the lawsuit, and she's one of the Spicey content creators. But this is an article from the Daily Mail, and the Daily Mail has to say a bunch about this lawsuit also. And let's get into that a little bit. And I'm going to try not to go over some of this, try not to be redundant, as they say in the law. When we write a brief, we don't want to keep repeating the same information over and over again. But this article kind of goes in and explains a little bit better what exactly the allegations are in this lawsuit. And it says that it alleges that OnlyFans bribed Meta staff to put spicy content stars on a bad guy watch list, so they were shadow banned from social media sites, the lawsuit claims. The stars claim that OF owner paid off staff to get his content, to get favorable website traffic to his website so he could compete. He could basically drive his competitors out of business. They claim photos, the spicy content creators claim, right down there, claim photos and clips were falsely flagged as containing bad guy stuff, which isn't good, which isn't good at all. They claims that the claims come in numerous lawsuits against OF from people that were posting videos previously, or posting content that had they claim having their stuff, the content, the creation shadow banned. We'll take a little bit closer look at what's going on here. Let's go down a little bit here. First of all, I have to go down. Let's get by these commercials. And again, some of this is a little bit we don't want to continue going over the same stuff, but I do want you to be aware of what is actually going on. The claims come in one of a mountain. It says a mountain of lawsuits against OF from enraged stars, saying that it caused them financial harm. And I bet it did if it's true. And all their lawyers claim that they have a list of 21,000 Instagram accounts that's been unfairly branded as potential bad guys. So that's a lot of Instagram accounts. That's a lot of social media accounts. And you might know somebody on that list. You might be on that list yourself. I don't know. I'm not sure who's on the list, but people that are just trying to make a living, doing nothing wrong but posting content, shouldn't be on a bad guy list. That's not the American way at all. And again, we saw these pictures. And we'll just go a little bit down here to see what this actually says. Let's see here. So I won't say this woman's name, but she's one of the plaintiffs, claimed that she was put on the bad guy lawsuit. She said she was among those whose accounts were placed in a database by this organization. She told the New York Post, and we just read that article, that when she heard her content might be listed on this bad guy list, that she was outraged. And this is down below again, that she is the daughter of a veteran. So let's take a look at what exactly might have been. Let's take a look at this lawsuit, the law firm's website that's helping these creators bring the lawsuit. And this is the lawsuit of the law firm of Milberg. And it had a long name, and I'm not going to get into it, but David Azar, who is the partner in this law firm, states that he recently filed a lawsuit for Fan Centro. Now, Fan Centro was one of OF's rivals, alleging that OF and employees of large social media company colluded to harm competing businesses of these spicy creators, destroying the livelihoods of these spicy creators to gain market share. Now, there's nothing wrong with competition, but there is something wrong with destroying people's livelihoods illegally, and bribery is illegal. And not only is that illegal, but the law does recognize that conspiracy is more likely to succeed. And I can give you a quick example again from law school, that when somebody robs a bank and they're caught and they're charged and they're brought to court and they're convicted of bank robbery, let's say they get 10 years because of what they did. Fair enough. We have another group of individuals, let's say 3 individuals. They go down their cellar, they start planning out how they're going to rob a bank. And their neighbors overhear what they say. They call the police come down and arrest them, and they get charged with conspiracy to commit robbery, to commit bank robbery. Who do you think is going to get the greater punishment? The guy who robbed the bank, or the people who conspired to rob the bank but never even committed the act? Well, if you guess the conspiracists, you're right. Because the law says that when 2 or more people get involved in a plan to commit a crime, they're more likely to succeed. And that goes for everyday life. That's why people have masterminds. That's why people get together and form partnerships. That's why people form corporations, because it's pretty common knowledge that the more people kind of contribute their minds to a project, the more likely it is to succeed. And that's what this lawsuit is partially saying, that there was a collusion, there was an effort, there was a conspiracy to stop these creators from using rival websites to promote their content. Rival websites of OF, that is. And that's what this law firm says. And we'll go down to this article, which I'm going to show you, which basically says, which is basically an what, well, it's an allegation of an admission by Facebook at the time that said, yes, we do have a list because there was so many people on our social media platform, and some of them were using it for bad purposes to plan bad acts against countries and individuals. So to ward off allegations that it helped these bad people, Facebook, it says, for many years, barred users from speaking about people in groups that promoted bad people, bad acts. The restriction appears to trace back to 2012, when, in the face of growing alarm in Congress and another organization about bad people recruiting from the social media site, Facebook added a community standards, performance standards, I suppose you could say, the rules against using their site to promote bad acts. And that makes sense. It makes sense that bad people shouldn't be using social media to plan bad acts against innocent human beings or anyone else for that matter. That's not what social media is all about. And personally, I'm glad that there is some restrictions on the use of bad people using social media to plan bad stuff on people that shouldn't be doing it. Let's put it that way. So in recent years, the policy has been used at a more rapid pace, including against Donald Trump. We all know that, and has taken on a kind of a life of its own. But we won't get into that. That's a video for another day. But there is a list, and I'm going to show you that list right now. And after that, we're going to end the video. But let's take a look at that right now. And it's a long list. It's a list of organizations and individuals that are on a list. And we can scroll through this. And if you want, it's online and it's available to the public. And if you wanted to, you could take a look at it personally yourself. And I want to scroll down here if I can get to it. Here we go. As you can see, it's a really, really, really long list, and I'm not it's so long that I'm not even going to be able to get to the end of it because it's boring just scrolling through it. So there is a list, and these spicy performers could be on this list. I'm not sure, but that's what the allegations of the lawsuit allege, that they're on some type of list and that they were shadow banned and they don't like it and they're seeking monetary damages because they were allegedly placed on the list and shadow banned. Simply, they allege to make sure that OF received all the traffic from links that were posted on social media sites. I'm Rob. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, and I'm also an attorney licensed to practice law in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I thank you so much for watching this video. If you're watching it on a replay, I thank you. Whenever you're watching it, thank you so much. If you haven't done so already, I would ask that you subscribe to my channel. I post a lot of interesting comments. I've been posting videos, a lot of videos, for the last couple of years. At last count that I looked, I've posted over 800 videos. So I'm getting pretty good at it. I do a lot of research. I put a lot of time into my videos, and I appreciate each and every one of you who watch. So thanks again. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Take care.